In this lesson, we're going to look at static versus non-static. So static means that it's owned by the class. Non-static means it's owned by the object. So if it's owned by the class, it means only the class can call it. If it means it's owned by the object, it means only objects can call it. Now, this can refer to instance variables, which are known as fields, and methods. You can have static and non-static fields, static and non-static methods. So we got some fields here. So private static int static variable equals 0. Now note, since it's a static field, only one exists and can only be called by the class. Private int non-static variable. There's one of these for every single object that's constructed, and every single object owns their own non-static variable. So in the constructor, we send it a parameter, x. We increase the static variable by x. So every single time the static variable is increased, and then we have a non-static variable we set equal to x. Then we've got two accessor methods. Public static int get static variable and public int get non-static variable. So these just return our fields. That's all they do. All right, so let's look at our client class here. So let's construct a static versus non-static object. So we construct one, we send it 10. So notice to call a static method, it is the class name dot method. So I'm going to have to say static versus non-static dot something. But to call a non-static method, you call it by the name of the object. In this case, x. I would say x dot something. So I say static equals, and then I call the get static variable. And then I also print off the non-static plus the get non-static variable. So I'm printing off both my fields using the accessor methods. Now when I create another static versus non-static object, remember our static field got increased by the parameter. So I print them off again. Now if I create another one, again, it gets increased by the parameter. So you'll notice my static variables, it goes 10, 17, and then -3, but my non-static one is just set equal to the parameter, so 10, 7, -3. So let's run it and let's see what we get. So you can see my static is increasing by the parameter each time, 10 plus 7 minus 3. That by non-static was just set equal to them, 10, 7, -3. And that is the end of this lesson.